For the first time in 35 years, over half the S&P 500 sectors are extremely overbought, while the S&P 500 itself struggles to close in neutral territory. We'll look at that. We'll also get an update on day 268 of bearish divergence, check out the surprising and abrupt conclusion to our Credo trade, and I'll leave you with one additional trade idea to check out. Let's dive in. Starting with the S&P 500, we see yesterday we closed here firmly in neutral territory. This indicator is called a Bollinger Band. Anything outside of the Bollinger Band on the upside would be considered overbought, and on the downside would be considered oversold. Now, I've got this Bollinger Band set to a 50-period moving average, which is the standard reference point for overbought and oversold markets. What I want you to check out here, if we go over to our 6 sectors that are overbought, you can see that consumer staples, energy, industrials, materials, real estate, and utilities are all outside of their upper band. They are extremely overbought. This has not happened in 35 years. And while this in of itself is not necessarily a strong bearish signal, there's a lot of opportunities for these sectors to move on down, which I believe will pull the S&P 500 with it. You should go back if you haven't seen Tuesday's market forecast, where we talk about additional downward pressure such as seasonality and the presidential election cycle. All of these forces are creating downward pressure on the S&P 500, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be able to hold out. Let's go back to our main S&P 500 chart and bring up our MACD indicator, and we can see now for 268 days, starting back in mid-May of last year, the MACD indicator has made lower highs while the S&P has made higher highs. And yes, we continue to struggle to make any kind of bullish progress. This is a boring market. Now, there's a saying on Wall Street, never short a boring market. And I agree with that. I don't think we're looking at a big S&P 500 reversal, but I do think that we're looking at a period of time where the S&P 500 is going to continue to struggle and may even trade bearish. I would be very careful with my bullish trades right now. Speaking of bullish trades, let's go check out our Credo trade from Power Trader. And you can see we got into this trade on Monday, and by Tuesday, it gapped up over our target. If you're part of our Power Trader community, I sent out a message via Discord and said I would put cash in my jeans and raise my stops, friends. This was a spectacular trade that lasted less than 48 hours. If you missed that trade idea, don't be discouraged. Let's come over to ticker symbol HL, Hecla Mining. This was brought to us by none other than our very own Chris Burgess, and we were looking at this trade on Monday. It went up a little bit on Monday, down a little bit on Tuesday, kind of all over the map here today. But what's interesting to me is we continue to respect this trend line, this support line, with a beautiful lower shadow on that candlestick today. I think there's a good opportunity, if you've missed the entry on the previous 2 days, to look at trading bullish on Hecla Mining. This, of course, is mirroring what we're seeing as some bullishness out of silver. If you go back to the last couple market forecasts I shared, we've talked about how I thought silver was going to find some strength, find some support here. And indeed, that's what we've seen following through. As silver does well, I believe you're going to see Hecla Mining do well also. So take a look at this. I'd get my stop down here around $20 or so with a target on upwards of $33. But of course, as you make your way on up here, I would move my stop up or put cash in my jeans every step of the way. If you enjoy these kinds of trade ideas, I encourage you to come check out our Power Trader. There's a link in the description below. For $10, you can come join us for an entire month and see this and several other type of trade ideas. That's it for today's market forecast. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be alerted anytime I release a market forecast. And until I see you again, blessings and favor on your trades.